I'm going to start recording and share my screen. All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us. This is our presentation, 12 Scams Targeting Consumers During the Holidays. It is a twist on the traditional 12 scams of Christmas. This time of year, people are busy doing their shopping, donating to charitable causes, which is wonderful. But unfortunately, this time of year, we also see lots of fraud, and it is prime time for scammers. So, lots of ways that people can be taken advantage of this time of year. So these are, some scams that you might encounter throughout the holiday season, and we'll give you some tips on how to protect yourselves. All right. And my name is Katerina Schmieder. I am the communications director for the Better Business Bureau of Upstate New York. A little bit about my role. I am focused on media relations and consumer outreach and education. That is one of my favorite parts of my job. I really enjoy being able to go out to different communities and participate in webinars to help educate people on how they can protect themselves. A little bit about the Better Business Bureau of Upstate New York. Many people don't realize this. We are located in Buffalo, but our service area is very large. It encompasses all 48 counties of upstate New York. So if you are picturing a map, we serve pretty much everything but New York City. So if you live in any of those areas or know somebody in those areas, we encourage you to use our services. We have about 8,000 accredited businesses. These are all businesses who have earned the BBB seal, and we thank you for everything you do to help uphold trust in the marketplace. All right, and let's get into our presentation. All right, so no surprise here, scammers don't take a break for the holidays. Um, you know, I think everybody needs to be mindful of scams and know how to protect themselves year round, because we're seeing so many more scams online, and with the use of AI, it's just becoming more and more sophisticated. So I like to tell people that unfortunately, scams and fraud are not going anywhere, and that's why it's so important for us as consumers to do everything we can to protect ourselves. And this time of year, it's important to be extra vigilant because there are so many different variations of scams out there targeting you. All right, first up, we have misleading social media ads. So you'll often see products and services advertised on your social media feed, and they could offer you a large discount on the product or service or convince you to sign up for a monthly subscription. I am already seeing tons of these on my personal feed. Typically, it's some sort of social media ad that is trying to lure you in by advertising a popular product at a low price. I always say this, but it's worth repeating. If a deal sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. When you're on social media, you really want to look closely at the advertisement. Go to the website. Does it look legitimate? Is it a legitimate retailer? I see lots of these fake stores and shops pop up on apps like Instagram and TikTok, especially this time of year. You want to take some time to research that business and then take it a step further and look at that profile. If you click on the profile and you see that the store or shop was created 1 week ago, then that's a telltale sign that you're dealing with a scam and they're hoping to just extract some money. And then unfortunately they'll move on to the next fake website. So I have an example here, and this is one that I've been seeing on my feeds right now. So these are just some of the red flags that you can look out for. So these are UGG shoes or UGG slippers. These are normally an expensive product, and it's being advertised at $15.89. Well, if you go and look up the cost of Uggs, they are much more expensive than this. So that right there tells you you're dealing with a scam. And this is trying to trick you into thinking it's Macy's, but here we have Deal Zone. Today only 70% off. When you look closely at the website and URL, and I apologize, you can't see it here, but you want to make sure that you see HTTPS and a little lock symbol. That tells you that you're on a secure website. And then look closely at logos. Scammers are using AI to steal logos from other companies, or they might try to recreate them. But oftentimes there are imperfections and little things that might look off to indicate that you're dealing with a scam. So definitely want to be careful if you're doing your shopping online. Again, check out the business profile on bbb.org and read reviews. We have information on thousands of businesses on bbb.org. You can read reviews that other consumers have left, and we actually vet reviews to make sure they're legitimate. You can see if there are any complaints about a particular business. It's a great way to do your homework and make sure that you're shopping with retailers that you can trust. Again, make sure the website you're purchasing from is legitimate and not a lookalike. All right, next up, social media gift exchanges. I don't know about all of you, but I have been seeing these on my social media feeds for the last, let's say, 10 years or so. It's advertising a secret sister gift exchange where you purchase one gift and you're promised to receive usually more than one in return. And it's prompting you to share your personal information, with strangers. So I always tell people this is illegal. It is a pyramid scheme. Do not participate in any of these exchanges that you see originate online. If you're getting together with friends or family in person and doing a gift exchange, that's one thing. I know we do one at our office, and that's great. But this you want to avoid. And here's an example of what one of those posts look like. It says, the Secret Sister gift exchange. Exchange is super easy. Doesn't matter where you live. You only have to buy one gift valued at $10, and then after you'll receive 6 to 36 gifts in return. And unfortunately, I do see a lot of people participating in these. So, you're giving your personal information to strangers. Also, there's no guarantee that you're actually going to get a gift in return. So we advise that people avoid these types of social media exchanges. And the solution, we went over this, but don't participate in any online gift exchanges. Even if the post comes from a trusted friend or family member, be wary about the exchange and contact BBB if you would like us to look into it for you. All right, next up, holiday apps. I know this time of year, people have apps on their phone that allow kids to maybe FaceTime with Santa or play different games. Like anything else that you download, you just want to make sure that it is a safe, legitimate app. They could be collecting too much personal information. They could have malware. You really want to read reviews and make sure that you're dealing with a legitimate app that isn't designed to steal your personal information. So these are what some of these apps might look like. And the solution, monitor what your kids and grandkids are downloading and make sure any app they use isn't collecting personal data or advertising inappropriate material. When buying toys, be sure to review any online components of the toy to make sure it's not asking for too much personal information. This is where I think reading reviews is important too. Before you download any apps, make sure you're reading reviews to see what other people have experienced. And if something seems fishy, don't enter your personal information or your credit card information or payment information. All right, next, fake toll collection text. Here in upstate New York, we have been receiving many reports of these over the past couple of years, and this is one that I really want to stress that people should look out for. During the holiday season, many of us do a lot of traveling. I know I have family that lives about an hour away, so I am constantly driving back and forth on the thruway. Well, scammers know that, and they're trying to capitalize on that. So around the holidays, we hear more about these fake toll collection notices, and it's a text message that you receive on your phone that claims that you owe a certain amount in unpaid tolls. And usually it's a small amount, and that's designed to try to get you to think, oh, okay, well, I only owe $5, so let me just take care of this and get it off my plate. But what happens is when you click on that link, you enter your payment information and your personal information, and the scammer on the other end is able to extract more money from your bank account. I spoke with a woman from the central New York area about a year ago, who lost more than $1,000 to one of these scams. And it's something that we're seeing target people of all ages. I've spoken with older adults, young adults who have unfortunately fallen for this scam. So you really want to make sure that you're looking closely at any of these messages you receive and not engaging with them. I know tolls by mail or the New York State Thruway Authority will never send you a text message asking you for personal or payment information. Typically, they'll send you notices in the mail. And if you're unsure, go directly to the source, whether that's through the New York Tolls website, or from a phone number that you have on a piece of mail. You want to follow up with them directly and not using a phone number that was provided in one of these emails or text messages. And I can show you an example of what one of these looks like. This is one that I received. So it says the toll roads notice of toll evasion. That doesn't exist here in New York. It says you have an unpaid toll bill on your account. To avoid late fees, pay within 12 hours, or the late fees will be increased and reported to the DMV. So this is the type of language that scammers use. They're threatening that you'll have late fees if you don't pay within 12 hours. That's all designed to try to get you to act quickly without giving it a second thought. Then the toll roads team wishes you a great day. And you see this is an unknown number here. It's best to just report this as junk. Don't engage with it, delete the message. And again, if you're unsure, contact the Thruway Authority directly. And of course, you want to block and report it, and then report it to us at BBB. We have a free scam tracker. You can find it at bbb.org/scam tracker. And this allows us to retrieve information on how frequently these scams are happening in our communities. And then I can put out notices to the public to let them know. But this is something that we've been talking about quite extensively over the past couple of years. And it's something that works for scammers. So that's why they keep doing it. And I would not be surprised if we start to see more of these around the holidays as people are doing their traveling. There's also another variation on it that I've been seeing lately, which is a message from the DMV, or claiming to be from the DMV, that you have an unpaid traffic ticket that you need to take care of immediately. Again, this is a scam. You do not want to engage with that text message. And please let your loved ones know. I have family members who have received these text messages and they're unsure of what to do, particularly elderly family members. And I advise them not to engage with any of it. But if you're someone who doesn't use technology frequently, you might not notice something like this, or it might not set off any red flags right away. So that's important that we not only know how to protect ourselves, but our loved ones as well. All right, next up, free gift cards. Scammers send bulk phishing emails attempting to collect your personal and financial information. Scammers impersonate real businesses, assuring you that you've won a free gift card. If you haven't signed up for a contest or drawing, it's extremely likely that it is a scam. Again, if it sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. If they're offering you something for free, this is an example of one of those pop-ups that probably many of us have seen, on social media, on Facebook. You don't want to click on it. Also, another piece of advice with gift cards is make sure you are only using them for their intended purpose. If somebody ever asks you for a gift card as a form of payment, that is such a common tactic that scammers use. You want to make sure that you are not sending any of that information. They might call and say, they might claim to be from a government agency and they need you to purchase some gift cards and scratch off the numbers on the back, and send it to them. And that is a scam. They're untraceable. So it's an easy way for scammers to extract money and then get away with it. And unfortunately, and oftentimes they are not caught. So just a reminder to be safe with gift cards. And of course, if you haven't entered a contest or drawing, you shouldn't believe any email that comes in promising you've won something. Again, report it to our scam tracker. All right, next up, temporary holiday jobs. So, as we know, a lot of retailers hire seasonal help this time of year, and it's a great way for some people to pick up extra hours. But again, we are seeing scams involving these. I myself just received a message the other day that claimed to be from Amazon. It was a seasonal position, and would only require me to work up to 1 hour a day and it would pay me $500 a day. Obviously, that's very unrealistic, but it's just a way to try to extract personal information from you, or in some cases, they ask for money. They'll ask you to send money for an application fee or to help set up your work from home equipment if it's a remote job. Those are all red flags. If you receive a message claiming to be from a retailer about seasonal help, go directly to the official website or give them a call and see if, in fact, there are any jobs listed. You should always be wary of any of these unsolicited messages that you receive. So here's an example of, some of the messages that we've been hearing about, and this is something that we've been monitoring pretty closely since the COVID pandemic. A lot of people are looking for remote work as well, and flexibility, and a lot of these scammers will promise that with these fake jobs. So this one says, "Hello, excuse me, I'm a recruitment assistant at Indeed. We'd like to offer you a great remote part-time or full-time job to help update App Store data, increase app views and downloads, and provide you with free training. Flexible part-time and full-time jobs allowing you to work 30 to 90 minutes a day." Right there, that's a red flag. 4 days a week and earn extra income on weekends. You can work anytime, anywhere, according to your schedule, and earn $100 to $800 a day. The basic salary is $950 for every 4 days worked. Paid annual leave in addition to holidays. Again, all of these promises that are extremely unrealistic for any job. And this one is really targeting a lot of young people. Employment scams are the number one scam affecting those 18 to 24. So if you know anybody in your life in those age groups, please talk to them about this. It's something that we've been hearing a lot more about in recent years. In the solution, if it's too good to be true, it's probably a scam. Look up the company at bbb.org and always meet in person with a potential employer. That's another red flag. If you apply for a job and the person refuses to meet with you or provides spotty information, those are just some other signs that you're dealing with a fake offer. All right, next up, imposter scams. This time of year, and really anytime, you want to be on the lookout for lookalike websites created by scammers. Pay attention to the URL of the website, and if every item is for sale, it's most likely a scam. So here is a fake Amazon website, and every year we release a risk report that shows which organizations are the most impersonated. And of course, Amazon is one of them. But right here on the browser, you can see it says dangerous. You want to look for the HTTPS and the lock symbol to tell you you're on a secure website. And, I was just looking at one of these fake websites the other day, and it listed North Face jackets at like $12. It was an imposter website. They, were pretending to be Dick's Sporting Goods. But the URL was something like Dick's Outlet Store. It wasn't the official Dick's URL. And was listing all of these expensive items for prices that are incredibly unrealistic. I don't know if you're familiar with North Face jackets, but those are typically very expensive. I think it's highly unlikely that you would ever find one for $12. So again, just kind of looking closely at those things can help save you a lot of time and frustration as you do your shopping. And if a website looks off, close your browser and search for the name of the business to make sure you're going to the correct website. Always check the URL and make sure there are privacy policies in place for any financial transactions. When it comes to fake websites, trust your gut. Yeah, we're seeing a lot more of these websites generated using AI. And if you look closely at the images, some of them are off. There might be people in them, and with AI, their faces might look slightly distorted, or they might have, a couple of extra fingers or something like that. It sounds silly, but those are really little things that can tell you that you're dealing with a fraudulent website. Because, like we said, with AI, it's just getting more and more sophisticated, and scammers are able to recreate very realistic looking websites. So it's really on us to make sure we're looking closely and doing our homework. All right, number 8, fake charities. Um, Here in Western New York, people are very generous, and that is wonderful. There are a lot of great causes to support, but that's another thing that scammers are ready to take advantage of. If you are thinking of donating to a charity, take the time to make sure it's legitimate. If you have somebody come to your door and ask for donations or pressure you to donate on the spot, not a good idea to do so. Any legitimate charity will never pressure you to give on the spot. So you can say, thank you. I would like to take some time to research your charity, your organization, ask them for information and see what they provide. But you just want to be careful. And if you are donating, you want to make sure you're using a credit card. Credit cards offer the best form of recourse if you do encounter a scam, because it allows you to dispute the charges. But if you send money through a peer-to-peer payment app, like Venmo or Cash App, or use a gift card, once that money is sent, it's usually gone. So just a reminder to look closely, make sure you're researching the charities that you're considering donating to, and making sure that they're legitimate. We have an organization that we work in conjunction with called the Wise Giving Alliance. And there's a website called give.org that has tons of information on charities. So if you're ever unsure, just hop on there and do a quick search, and that will help you find out whether or not you're dealing with a legitimate organization. All right, number 9, fake shipping texts. Heard about these a lot in the past couple of years. I receive them all the time myself. Um, I know this time of year we're all ordering tons of packages. I know I'm guilty of that. It is so easy to lose track, especially if you shop online. Um, but there are scams out there posing as the United States Postal Service that'll tell you there's been an issue with one of your packages, and they need you to enter personal or payment information again. If you receive a message like that, it is most definitely a scam. Here's a sample text message. The USPS package arrived at the warehouse but could not be delivered due to incomplete address information. Please confirm your address in the link. The USPS team wishes you a wonderful day. I mean, that's another red flag there. That's not, typically how the Postal Service would communicate. And they will never text you asking for personal or payment information. If you ordered a package and you think there might be an issue with the shipping, go directly to the source. Go to the website you ordered it from, go to that original tracking number, and if you have questions, reach out to that organization directly. But do not engage with any of these fraudulent messages, and we've seen them both in email and text message, so just keep an eye out for these. And the solution is delete and report the text, do not reply, do not click on any links. Any conversations regarding shipping should occur over the phone or an email with the company through a legitimate contact. All right, number 10, advent calendars. So these are becoming more and more popular. I know when I was younger, it was just your traditional chocolate advent calendar, and now they have all sorts of ones. My husband has one for hot sauce. They have them for wine, for all different types of things. So they're very popular. But again, It's an easy way for scammers to try to sell counterfeit products. You might order one and never receive it or get junk in the mail. I've seen advertisements for all sorts of different ones. Again, with anything else, like anything else, you just want to make sure you're ordering from a legitimate retailer and read the reviews before you order. Research the company before you buy, look them up on bbb.org for reviews. Be wary of new companies until you've established trust with them. Like I said, a lot of these fraudulent companies will pop up on social media almost out of the blue, and just see how many quick transactions they can get out of people and how much money they can take from people before they move on to the next scheme. So that's why doing your research, doing your homework, so critically important. All right, holiday wish list items. So scammers target the most sought after items on the market each year, offering a lower price on their fake website. Always buy these products from their main supplier and not through a link on social media. Now, to be honest with you, I'm not sure what the hot item is this year. I don't have kids, so I'm not sure what the big toy is. But I know we typically see these scams with technology, designer items. And the example I have is something that we've been seeing a lot of scams surrounding lately, which are these Labubu dolls. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but it's a doll keychain that people hang on their purses. And I think over the summer they just kind of exploded and were really popular. Well, we got an influx of scam reports regarding these, either fake websites or counterfeit products that sent you a piece of junk in the mail that looked nothing like what the product you intended to order looked like. So again, look closely at these websites here. I know, like with these products, there's a way to verify their authenticity. They come with a QR code on the box and on the foot, but do some research first to see how you can verify the authenticity of an item. But, like I always say, if it sounds too good to be true, it most likely is. You can apply that to almost anything, really, when we're dealing with scams and fraud. So again, only purchase products through websites and companies you trust. Be wary of reselling through Facebook Marketplace or TikTok Shop. You have to be careful with TikTok Shop and some of these other platforms because usually the social media site is just a conduit for the product. You don't know how well they've been vetted. So you want to do your own research, look into the actual store name, and see what information you can find on them. And last but not least, we have puppy scams. Um, Sometimes people consider adding a pet to the family around the holidays. We know from our data that many people do purchase pets around the holidays. And unfortunately, we've seen a lot of puppy scams in recent years or pet scams. We just released a study on this that shows that numbers are still pretty high. What scammers do is they will take pictures from a legitimate website or breeder and try to pass them off as their own. And these websites, the ones I have seen, are very sophisticated and many of them look legitimate. But there are some red flags that you can look out for and some telltale signs. First, if you can't meet the pet in person, not a good idea to move forward with this transaction. Second, if the person you're dealing with on the other end starts to ask for money to cover some suspicious fees, like for a new crate or for vaccines, if they keep asking for that money and you still haven't met the pet, it's best to walk away. We've seen people lose a lot of money to these scams. They involve dog breeds, some of the more popular ones like German Shepherds or bulldogs, but also exotic pets and even cats too. I've seen fake websites for Maine Coon cats. That's one that's been reported to us, and people have lost hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars to these scams. So make sure you can meet the pet in person to guarantee that it truly exists. And here's, an example of a fake website: exotic cats for sale. We are exotic cats breeder. Again, you really just want to be careful when you're on on these websites. Many of them are fraudulent, and if you cannot meet the pet in person, that's just very dangerous. There are tons of rescue groups, shelters, places that you can go adopt a pet or go to a legitimate breeder and meet them in person. But I would advise against doing any of these online transactions. Yep, be wary of purchasing a new pet online. Always ask to meet the pet in person. Check out bbb.org and read reviews of the company you're looking into. All right, and here are some general tips to avoid holiday scams. I know we've, gone over a lot of these, but I'll just repeat them one more time. Keep documentations of all your orders and purchases. Pay with a credit card. Credit cards offer the greatest fraud protection. So much easier to recover and get your money back if you pay with a credit card than if you pay with a debit card or non-traditional peer-to-peer form of payment. Double check those websites, make sure you're on the correct website, and look closely at the URL or for spelling and grammar issues. Be careful what information you share. Don't give out information about you or your loved ones unless you know how the information will be used and who's receiving the data. Avoid suspicious links. Do not click on unfamiliar links sent to you via email or text message. Spread the word. If your family and friends know about the scam, they'll be more likely to spot it. Educate them. You can report scams for free using BBB Scam Tracker at bbb.org/scam tracker. When people get scammed and I talk to them, they're embarrassed. And I understand, but I always tell them not to be because anybody can be vulnerable these days. We're finding that 18 to 24-year-olds are losing in recent years more money than adults 65 and older. So that just goes to show you that anybody can be targeted these days. And we really encourage you to share your experience or tell your loved ones to share their experience with us. That way we know what's going on and we can help report that to the communities we serve. We'll never share your personal information, your name, anything like that. But by sharing what happened to you, you can help prevent it from happening to somebody else, which is really important. And it's a great way to make sure that we're all doing our part to, not only protect ourselves, but protect others. And lastly, you want to make sure that you're researching businesses on bbb.org. We're a great resource. We're a free resource, so please use us. And that wraps us up. This is my contact information. You can contact me at kschmieder at upstatenyBBB.org or 585-813-6705 if you want to take a picture of that. If you ever need anything, if you have questions on any scams, if you are interested in a presentation or know an organization that would be interested in a presentation, we do them for free. I most recently started a student scam and fraud prevention program where we will go into schools and help show students and young adults how they can protect themselves and what types of scams might be targeting them. And then we go to senior organizations to help those older adults identify ways that they can protect themselves. So again, we are happy to help you. So please do not hesitate to reach out. And with that, I will stop the recording and allow time for any questions you might have. All right.
No questions from my end. Thank you.
No questions? All right, great. Thank you.